Lau came out of the game, just had a little bit of I think it was a stinger, but he had to go through concussion protocol, but he was good to go, came back in and played. So, that's a really good win for us. That's a good football team over there. They're well coached. They got a lot of good players. They do things the right way here, which is why they've been so successful for the last however many long. But down at half, still felt really good about what we were doing. Had a couple plays go against us there, with the block kick for a touchdown and the interception. Game kind of swung in their favor, but we battled, man. They were convicted at halftime. We talked about it all week, what kind of game it was going to be. We wanted to get to the fourth quarter and have a chance to win the game, and that's what we did. So, and if you look at the second half, off the top of my head, 3 takeaways by the defense, scoring drives by the offense, field goals, special teams. Blake hit the first 3 and out, a huge punt that flipped the field, which was huge for us, I thought. So really all 3 phases, they stayed connected. They played well. Yeah, they were fired up. They know it's a good football team, and last week was not a good performance by us. And they took that some type of way. But, again, that's why I was convicted. You obviously never want to look in the past right now. I don't want to talk about that, Cam. But, going into that week, we hung together. We took the arrow in the forehead. And we got to put all our energy and focus into San Fran. That's what we did. We had a really good week of practice. Our captains stepped up leadership, I thought, this week, which was huge. All 4 of those guys. Dortch was instrumental this week with energy and focus. That's why he was the game captain. He's practicing his ass off. But we got a lot of good guys in that locker room, and the response was correct. Now we got to learn from it and move on to the next one because we're going to play a really good football team in Green Bay. Yeah, it was good. I don't know if you do the math what we held them to there, but, obviously them losing their kicker was a component in that game. And I thought Nick and the defensive staff adjusted to that really well in real time because you got to play differently then. And I thought he did a good job, and they made a lot of plays. That's what it comes down to, guys. We win the game because guys made a bunch of plays, all 3 phases. Point blank, done. Yeah. Huge to keep points off the board there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry. I'm excited about the red zone.
What does it take for defense to do that?
Yeah, resilience because they moved it. You know what I mean? But we knew they were going to move it there. That's a good offense, man. They're top in the league, And to be able to keep points off the board there was huge. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of how they battled, man. I really am. Yeah. Yeah, there is no panic, man. Kyler's like this, the whole James Conner, the O-line, we're fine, you know what I mean? And the run game wasn't really going at that point, I know Kyler had the long one, but let's just stick with it. Let's just get it to the fourth quarter and stick with it. Bite down on your mouthpiece and let's go. And that's why I thought how they closed that drive off, the last one, to eat up the clock, make them use their timeouts, get it to 2-minute mechanics for them. I thought that was huge. Yeah, absolutely, Taylor. Just because of the score and the clock and timeouts and all those things, Drew challenged those guys. Hey, guys, we could pass it here, but I want to run the ball because that's the best thing to do to try to win the game. But what's going to get overlooked is the 4th and 5 to Marv. That was an unbelievable play. That's a got to have it for us. At that point, you're trying to balance. Do you want to punt it? Use your timeouts, try to get the ball back, or you want to go for it right now, push your chips in. We pushed our chips in, and they made a hell of a play. It was awesome. They were going nuts in the locker room. Half of the guys don't even know him. But he gets here, has an unbelievable week of practice. I got to connect with him early in the week. I was like, we ain't changing anything. This guy can hit it from everywhere and full confidence, you know what I mean? Go bang it through, and that's what he did. Especially, too, how many did he make after the one got blocked? That's like shanking a T-ball and having to rip driver a couple more times. It's not easy. He did a good job. It was the right thing to do, and I saw him practice, you know what I mean? So anyone that's out there, we have confidence in to get it done. So whether you're the kicker, a nose tackle, a guard, doesn't matter.
So Tom Brady described your team as being resilient and having a ton of character, and it stems from you. Just how do you take that compliment?
I would say I appreciate that, but it's not about me. It's about the players and the coaches. You know what I mean? And we got a good group in there. But again, we'll enjoy this one on to Green Bay.
What if going for two teams that only gives them a penalty, or were you considering that?
We were considering it, and then when the penalty happened, that's kind of one of our SOPs, time and score and all that, to go for it.
What does it mean for this team to have a complete offensive performance by having so many guys involved? I mean, Marv wasn't having to factor, but everyone else was.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Trey, Mike Wilson played well, the O-line, James, you know what I mean? Higgy Bear had some plays in there. We got playmakers, so that's what I mean, going back where the ball should go, where it should go. I feel really good wherever the ball goes. I think we have everyone on that field can win, and that's comforting. But we got to build on it, and we're gonna have to clean up some mistakes, and we got to do a little bit better. But I'm proud of those guys.
You said on the last drive it was the right thing to do to rely on James. Why is that the right thing? So they were showing you.
Time in the game. You're trying to eliminate variables, which for us is timeouts and 40 seconds off the clock. So a couple different ways you could go with that. Felt really good about what we were doing with those guys. That guy right there. Talk to him. See you guys. Travel safe.
James Conner, obviously, as well as Kyzir and Kyler.
And put a drive together, to either try to score or get a field goal to take the lead. It was just a mindset drive. Yeah, that's what we want, man. We want to be accountable. Me especially whenever I hear that in the huddle, it's my job to put the ball in the right spot. Do what we got to do to keep the chains moving.
You've been through the wars too many times to even think about this, but were you frustrated early when the running game couldn't get going and you figured it would just happen at some point?
No, if you stick with it, the game will reward you, and so don't get frustrated. No point really to get frustrated, just controlling what we can control. And we stuck with it in the second half, and we was able to put drives together and get points, so it worked out.
What does the team show today by having so many offensive weapons and options involved?
One more time, the first part?
What do you guys show by having so many players offensively involved?
I don't know if it's about showing anything. It's just about playing good football. We know who we got a receiver, the backs, up front, quarterback, so we just execute and do what we're supposed to do. We can be a good team. So it's not about showing anything. It's about just executing and putting the work in week after week.
Your first few big runs in this game were a lot of plays where there wasn't much running room. You were able to kind of find room. Did you feel there being more room opening up after some of those plays?
Somewhat. It's just, just trying to put the ball in the right spot, running physical, and just going as the line goes up front. They set the tone. There was movement up there, and that's why we were able to do what we was able to do in the second half.
Does the run run itself momentum-wise, like once you get one or two big runs, does it become easier to find holes to get right up front?
I don't know if it comes easier, but it's definitely nice to get into a rhythm and get lathered up out there, and then you just get in the zone.
Did you see what was happening on the fourth down play? Like, I don't know where you were on the field or when Marv made the catch, because obviously that changes the ball.
Yeah, Marv, I wasn't on the field, but Marv, Imari was out there, but Marv made a great play for us, 4th and 5, went to him and he came down with it, kept us alive, and so that's everybody that's doing their job.
Guys, how would you describe just the resiliency of this team and going from where you guys were at the beginning to start the third and then just do what you guys did?
Yeah, the game is 60 minutes, and so we believed, coming into halftime, they got the touchdown off of the blocked field goal, things that can go your way. But that's why you just keep swinging and you fight for 60 minutes.
Chase, how much did that run by Kyler early on and getting that big score kind of set the tone for what kind of game it was going to be?
Yeah, that's just Kyler making plays, and he turned us up with second play of the game. So it's always good to get a good explosive early on like that. Yeah, I didn't know if he was celebrating early or what he was doing, but I'm like, score, and that's what he did. So yeah, he fast enough to do that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Tired. Oh man, the guys fought for 60 minutes. This league is really hard, and I was frustrated. Not with just the way we were playing first half. I felt like we were moving the ball well, and we just the interception. We get the blocked field goal. Like I feel like the score didn't represent how well we were moving the ball in the way we were playing. And like when I say this league is hard, the margin for error is very tight. And I feel like we were, not necessarily giving the game away, but we just weren't capitalizing on the opportunities we had when we got down there and putting the ball in the end zone. So that was frustrating. But for us to fight back, battle back, and end up, winning this game on the road against a great team is huge. Yeah, man, we had to get it going. First half I felt like they were doing a good job stopping it. We leaned on the guys up front that those last couple drives to get it done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean I knew once Elijah got that block and I cleared the two dudes, I was gone. So it's always it's not many times you get to do that in the NFL. But to be able to finally hit a long run was good. It's fun. Yeah, I mean, we'll be better. He's young. This is our fifth game together, and we just gotta, we'll get it down. I'm not worried about it at all. But that just goes to show you the confidence and the trust. Fourth down, who am I going to? One-on-one, man, Marv. I trust Marv to go win. And I trust all the guys to go win. But that was huge. That was huge for him, I think, for his confidence and for us to, convert right there and keep the chains moving. They played well, man. They played their asses off to be able to get 3 takeaways against them. Man, we needed it. We needed it. It was big for us.
On the 4th and 5, on your free rusher in your face, what is your thought process in terms of where to go with the ball?
I mean, it was man. So I knew, Drew called a great play, and it's on me to buy enough time to be able to, just give Marv a chance and put the ball where I want to. And obviously he does the rest and makes the play. So it was a good job on everybody's part executing.
What was your mindset going into half? Sorry. What was your mindset going into halftime after things kind of got discombobulated for you guys?
Yeah, trying to, obviously having to flush that. Again, goes back to what I said. The first half was a little frustrated, a little irritated about how things were going. But the guys, man, the guys rallied around us. And we did a great job coming out second half. Sticking to the game plan, and continue to fight.
Did you expect pressure on that 4th down?
Yeah.
So is that kind of how it was designed? You expected some pressure, and then Marv was going to be the guy. How did that?
I mean, there's he calls the play is obviously we don't determine what they run, but when they're 6 up, playing man, and I know I obviously know what my receivers are doing, so. My best man beater, I'm gonna go. And that's at that point I got to back up and make a play. And Marv came down with it.
Was there an example of how deep this offense can be? Marv wasn't a huge factor. You had so many other guys step up.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you many times how confident I am in every guy out there. I mean, obviously we made some mistakes today and we didn't click on everything, but. That's the exciting part, and that's why we got to go back and go back to work, continue to be better, continue to get better, and work on the little things. Because if we can execute at a higher clip next week, we'd be that much better. And today obviously was 19 for 30. Felt like we were just a little off, but at the same time we were explosive and we made plays, when we had to. But I just know we can be better, and I'm confident in all those guys, and I know we have the guys in that locker room and in the offensive side of the ball to do special things.
How do you know when you're coming off the field after the last 3rd down, so Chad's coming on the field to kick the field goal, so you're not going to be involved for the field goal,
Yeah.
You're not involved for the defense. What are you doing that last 137, 140? How do you handle all that?
I hated it. Yeah, I hated it. Honestly, I didn't want to give him the ball back. I didn't. I was hoping we could convert and end the game on our terms. That didn't happen. Obviously, Chad, great making the field goal, and then the defense came in clutch. But that goes down to trusting the guys, trusting that they're going to make a play, playing complementary football. They had our back all game. we got to be better on the offensive side of the ball. But it was good. I told y'all before, we're gonna have to trust them and count on them plenty of times this season. So.
You had the play after the fourth down, you had a keeper for 13 yards. Were you always going to keep that, or was it a read, and what did you see?
We ran the play multiple times, and I think Nick, he finally just gave me the opportunity to pull the ball, and that was anticipated him doing that, and at that point you pull the ball and try to get as many yards as you can.
What does a win like this mean for you guys over this team for where you want to be at the end of the season? How big a win is this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm focused on right now. Obviously, it's huge, to go 2-0 in the division, to be able to flush last week and come in here against a divisional opponent and get a W on the road, just to be able to go home with a win, man. I think it does wonders for us. Again, I'm not looking forward to, down the line, but it's the biggest one because it's the next one. It's the current game that we're playing, so I'm excited, to get back and watch the film.
What do you think of your emergency kicker? Probably getting
He did great. He did a great job. He did a great job. We couldn't be more happy for him. He did his thing today.
I hate to ask you about the weather, but what were the conditions like out there today?
Honestly, it was like, it was hot as hell. It was hot as hell. Yeah, it was. It kind of just kept getting hotter, is what it felt like. Obviously I got the tights on, the long sleeve. I didn't help myself out, but it was hot.
How many conversations have you had with Chad before the game?
I don't really bother specialists. I let them do their thing. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
How you know?
Kyzir, obviously, well, let's just take that last play. Kyler was just talking about how he definitely wanted to run the clock out with the offense, but that wasn't impossible. So what's going through your mind when you get back on the field and then when that ball's floating in your hand?
Man, just go out there and make a play. We know they were going to come out, throw the ball. So, just make, the plays that's, given to you. And I seen the ball flowing. My eyes got real wide, and I just, went to go dive for it and, played out in my favor.
Is that about your favorite thing to see as a linebacker, a ball tipped up in the air?
Yeah, man, because I feel like I had stretches where I just don't see the ball come my way. And, the last time I caught an interception was Dallas last year. So I've been trying to manifest it all year. Every time in practice during walkthrough, I'm having, the guys throw me the ball just to visualize it. And it came to fruition today. So.
Can you put it in perspective, the performance by the defense? You guys probably heard some of the criticism.
Yeah, terrible performance last week. We put that in the back burner, used it as fuel, and came out here against, Super Bowl contender, multiple NFC championship team. We came out here and we battled. We got punched in the mouth at times, but we kept punching back and ultimately, came out with the win. So definitely proud of my guys, and, I feel like it could still be a lot better.
Kyzir, what switched in the second half, obviously shutting them out?
We just looked at the tape, seeing what we could do better, made a couple fixes here and there, and, just try to keep the energy high, the effort high, and just keep, speaking positive, on the sideline, things like that.
And how would you describe just the resiliency of this team as a whole?
Yeah, it was great. On both sides of the ball, offense picked us up when maybe we weren't playing too hot, and defense picked the offense up when they needed us. Special teams, new kicker coming in, drilling, kicks. So it was great performance all around.
We talked to Nick this week about the things that he needed to see from this year. I'm just curious what some of those conversations were, whether it was the position groups talking or.
Yeah, just being sound in our gaps, tackling better, hamstring tackling. I feel like we missed a lot of tackles last week. Getting better with motor and violence. The heat was on us a little bit, but we just wanted to keep fighting through that. And like I said, man, just look at the tape, and it could always be better. And hopefully going into Green Bay, it'll be a better performance and won't come down to the wire, hopefully.
How do you feel like you guys did against their run game?
I feel like we did real well, man. It was a couple slip-ups here and there, but, with a good team and a good scheme like that, things are going to happen. But overall, I felt like we're pretty sound.
What made that possible?
They got a good scheme.
No,
For us? We're drilling that all week. They like to play bully football. They got Trent Williams over there, so, we know what they like to do. And, we just try to put it in our head, drilling in our head that we're going to stop the run and hopefully make them one-dimensional and just force them to pass it.
Thanks, Kyzir.
Appreciate y'all. Yep.